Happy Halloween, everyone. Hello. It's Halloween. Did I say Happy Halloween yet? I guess I did. I am making masks, and today might be the last day I do them until next year. And what I've been doing is using cardboard boxes and various materials I have around the house. And if not in my house, I go to the dumpster and I find even more. So among the things I have, I'll just show you some. I had old diplomas, and I cut them up and made little faces out of them. This was a diploma for some sort of school. So there's the school part, and that's the R for whatever the town was or the name of the school. And so the diploma had a seal on the bottom, so I cut that up, and it's now the eyes, and the nose is made of two little O's from the word school. But as I was gluing it all together, I was looking at the things that this guy or girl, Henry, Mr. Henry, passed. And he written arithmetic. I wonder what that means. Story problems, descriptive geography, reading, orthography, English grammar, orthography. What is that? Bird study? No, that's ornithography. Well, I don't know. Whatever orthography is, he got that. Civil government. That's something that they used to teach in school. They don't really anymore. Certainly they didn't when in the school that Trump went to, because he might have learned something. He was too busy probably grabbing children by the snatch. So who knows? So anyway, that's this one. Let's see, this one was another school in dental surgery. So I have dental examiners as his teeth, and he has this sort of, the eyebrow is making me think he's a sadistic dentist, which almost all dentists are after a fashion. And he has hairy ears. Let's see, if you're a dentist and you're not sadistic, let me know, because I need to go to a dentist. Here's one from a theological thing. So we have the Latin words here. You have his bald pate. So maybe he's shaved up there, like certain monks are. He has his beard and his very rigid mouth. Sometimes the thought that this guy is a theologian makes me think rigidity in thought and speaking, because they see the world through their very narrow eyeballs, and things are often black or white. There's no gray that theologians spout. Here's a sleepy dame. Come on, wake up. Her very cute little nostrils, and her very demure nose, and her lips made of the words high and school, or high and chew. City of Cambridge is what all of this is, in her sort of fluffy hair. And one more diploma here. I've done a few more, but like I said, I only have this one to show. This one with the little cleft chin and his mustache and his whatever his eyes are made of, the Germanic lettering. So it's been a fun little project. He has calligraphic ears, but they're not hairy. Okay, so those are the diploma folks. Cardboard by themselves, corrugated. I've been collecting various kinds of corrugation, and some of them are very fragile and sort of soft, smushy, and that's what this was. So he became a winking, soft and smushy kind of guy with a missing tooth, or who knows what. The same sort of corrugated cardboard, using a scissors to cut the pieces rather than tearing them, provided this figure, which again, because my camera is, turn your head on that side, so anyway, there's that one. Here's another torn one, sort of mustached, bearded fellow. And this one, this was a wine bottle, and the wine box rather, and I just love these graphic crisscrossy lines that it was made of. So I made it into the Hear No Evil, See No Evil, Speak No Evil, Hear No Evil, or whatever the order is. Luckily they don't have Smell No Evil, but I could have had another 2 little X's there. This particular box, however, did not have enough printed X's, so I had to make this one out of various elements of the X, and it took me longer to make that little ear than it took me to make everything else. And I don't know, my math and my geometry brain was not functioning well. I should have been able to figure that out immediately, but it took forever. Okay, now Amazon delivers so much stuff to my building that there are Amazon boxes everywhere. And so here's an Amazon worker. His little mustache, and he's not very happy, this one. And here's another Amazon worker. He's smiling, at least, sticking his tongue out at the camera with his little teeth. So there was a lot of the barcoding that went in this one. This one didn't have any barcoding. So I try to put together masks that kind of make sense. So I don't just use every element on all of them. Every box had these little seals, every box had a barcode, every box had a white barcode, every box had this little framey thing for the labels or whatever it is. But I didn't use any of those on this one. I used the number and the tape for that one. Here I didn't use any tape for this one. Oh, I did. I'm sorry. I used the tape for the ear and that. So I'm lying. But I don't have to use every element for everything. I can restrict my palette. And now we've got 2 sort of completely different faces. This guy's kind of the guy that sticks his tongue out, his little goatee and his little mustache, and he's the life of the party. This guy's always angry. He's pissed off. He's not making enough money. He's not getting laid. He's just unhappy. This guy, he doesn't need to get laid. He's just happy. This guy, he tries to smile, but his smiles are always fake. You can tell they're fake. He just smiles, but he doesn't mean it. And he's always looking to, he can't make eye contact. He's always looking left or right. And he tries to smile, but he can't. He's just he's just screwed. Finally, the person that's the happiest is, of course, the owner of Amazon, is Jeff Bezos. So here's my portrait of Jeff with his prime eyes and his big smile. And he has his trusty dog. I don't know if he has a dog or not, but that's his dog, or a dog. So that's those. So now, is there any more creativity left in my little head? Of course there is. For example, I have this bag, foragers at some grocery store that has pigs and chickens and beets and oak trees. Oh, I guess that's lettuce or nuts. Is that nuts? Strawberries? I don't know what those are. So all good food. So I've got all sorts of silhouette, all sorts of black and white that I can use, and whether I tear these or cut them with the scissors, or whether that's going to be a mouth or an eye, or whether that's going to be a eye with a pair of glasses on, or what, I don't know. The thing is, if I have an arm, that's going to be the left eye, and here's a pair of, that's the eyebrow, and that's the eye glasses, and that. I don't have a backwards R. This isn't a Russian thing, and I can't find a backwards R. Of course, the Russians, they don't have a frontwards R. So, if I was in Russia, I'd have the same problem with this. But anyway, so that's the trauma that goes into making bags, because you often have to, it's like making that little extra X. So anyway, I've got this to work on today, maybe. I have this one, Johnnie Walker Black Label. So here, this is the reason I dragged this kicking and screaming out of the dumpster, was the shiny black surface versus the different kind of shiny, the slightly matted black. And then there's texture here. I don't know if you can see that. This is shiny. This has little lines in it. There's all sorts of fine print. And then, of course, there's all the inside. So this, who knows what this is going to turn into. I haven't quite, this might be hair. I think this is going to be hair. Maybe this will be a person of color. That's what, back in the olden days, they used to be called many things. And in the political correctness of America, we call this group of people African Americans, which is perfectly fine, except in Boston, which is an international city, I could be walking down the street and I could say, oh, I saw a white guy and an African American waiting in line at Starbucks. Let's say I wanted to say that. Well, unless I ask the African American person to show me his or her passport or identification papers, how will I know that that person is American? It could be an African or an African Norwegian or an African something else. So political correctness has caused us to be less descriptive. In the olden days, I might say, I met a blind person today. Well, now what you otherwise sighted, or I don't know what you say, disabled, otherwise abled, and someone might then say, well, in what way were they disabled? are otherwise abled? Or, and what do you mean by otherwise sighted? Do they see ghosts? So, blind, I know what that means. You know what that means. The blind guy knows what that means. It's descriptive, and it's perfectly fine. There was a time when, this is 35 years ago, when disabled was the correct term, the term that was supposed to be used. And I hated that term because my car is disabled, which means it cannot function. Someone who's in a wheelchair might be disabled, or that's what we would say, that person's disabled, when they were paralyzed or when they were something else. There's a different word that doesn't mean that you can't do anything. Disabled means you're disabled. You can't do stuff. And blind people can do stuff, deaf people can do stuff, people that are paralyzed in a lung machine can do stuff. So I don't understand it. Be descriptive. Parenthood is a trip. Well, that's something I don't ever have to worry about. So this is a big white. What color is that, Pierre? Red. It's a big red box with little holes in it. So these could be a mouth or eyes. I like them, because it's about parenthood and a baby list. Maybe I'll make this a big screaming baby. Red in the face because they're crying so much. So that's a colicky baby. Maybe that's what this will turn into. Just because of the color is maybe, and the name. Let's see what other box do I have. There's another box that has a lot of red in it. This is a shoe thing, New Balance shoes. So I may turn this into something that maybe is shoe related. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't have to be. But this has interesting shapes that are part of the box making process. That may be used in my design. Let's see, what other box do I have here? These complicated things were inside of different boxes. Do I have them? Okay, they're all falling down. These were inside of other boxes. These held video recorders or audio recorders or something. But I like the fact that they were so sculptural to begin with. Here's a face, here's ears, there's a cap, put a cap on it, there's a big cyclops with a mouth. I don't even have to do anything, it's already done. $500 for this mask. So sometimes I don't have to do very much to make a mask. Sometimes I have to put my thinking cap on and try things out. And I was going to do that right now and cut things out and show you, but I think I'll save that for another video. Here's Philips light bulb. And again, here we have where there might be eyes. That could be an eye or a nostril or who knows what. I could show green and black if I want to, or have it all be this color. I don't know yet. There's another box. Now what made me like this one? It was that, little buck teeth. So this could be little bunny rabbit. Here's the mouth and the teeth. There's an eye. There's another eye. And maybe the ears can be somewhere else. But it's that thing right there that inspires me to make the rest of it. That's what's fun about art. See, these are the things. These things were inside of this. So, but these, they're not interesting in themselves, really, but maybe I'll combine these two to make a multi-polychrome mask. I wanted to show you something else if I can find it. Okay, so here's a piece of cardboard. I don't know, I guess these didn't come from the same, I think these two came from the same piece. And you have this little tiny texture corrugation, which is kind of neat. And but you also have this line stuff here, corrugation, gray stuff, and then the glossy printed stuff. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 essentially different colors. 6 if you count the back. So that's browner than that by a little bit. So just in this one box, I've got a lot of different numbers in my paint by number kit. It also can peel this off a lot, so this could be elements of the face, let's say. Smooth but slightly, who knows? I don't know how that's going to work. Somewhere in this pile of stuff, though, I have, there it is. There was this piece of cardboard I had. This might have been on the back of a sketchbook or something. And, you know, its shapes, you know, that's the mouth of a fish, or the ears of a kitty, or something. So all of these things, you know, just the shape of how they tear can be inspirational in some way. So that's ready to go. But back to Jeff Bezos and his minions. Here's another box I got for from Amazon, and so here's Jeff now when he's a billionaire, but I'm going to do a portrait of him when he's a trillionaire, because here's his smile. So his smile will be like 3 times bigger than his head. Achoo. So there's his little dimple in his cheek. So it'll be the same sort of picture, except the smile will start here and go all the way to there, and this is about, I don't know, it's big. It's well, not quite 2 feet, but pretty big. So that'll be another Jeff Bezos portrait. Oh, here's one. One of my neighbors, I saw him bring the box to the recycle room, and I immediately grabbed him and tackled him before he got anywhere near it, because I immediately had an idea for what I was going to do. So it was a Fry Boots box. So here's the cowboy hat. Here's the cowboy kerchief, and there's the cowboy boy. So I have to finish him. So I was going to do 2 heads, bad guy with the black hat and a good guy with the white hat. But in doing, I probably can still do that. I can make him the sheriff from the Flaming Blazing Saddles movie, because he was African American or whatever. He might have been in a state that was not yet a member of the Union, so he was African. He would be an African North American. I don't know. I mean, this is why it's so dumb. Anyway, so there you go. There's a cowboy with his... The R is part of the word fry. I didn't really have that many letters or printing on this thing. You don't really need to. When you see the word fry, you don't have to see the word boot. You know what the heck it is. Don't you, partner? I'm gonna go see Miss Kitty. Bye. Say goodbye. Bye. Bye.